Welcome back to another episode of the Four Archetypes. I'm Dr. Lahab Al-Samarrai, and with me today, Dr. Lisa Hong. And we thought we'd give you a special pod on Valentine's Day, on the Lover Archetype. Dr. Lisa, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
That's great. How was your Valentine?
The Valentine's Day was nice. It was
Yeah,
nice to celebrate. Yeah.
yeah. Did you see a romantic movie?
Not a romantic movie, no, but we had a really nice evening of
Nice.
just everything was not really planned and deliberate,
Yeah,
but we both collaborated and made something that was um we created together,
yeah,
and we created a beautiful evening. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So, I think we'll start with that. Creation. That is the essence of the lover archetype. In the primordial gods, there was Eros. Eros was god of creation. Right? Before he became Cupid, and that's a transformation, and it's only an aspect of the true archetype. So let's talk about the lover archetype. I thought it might be interesting for our listeners, our viewers, to get a sense of the lover archetype. The lover archetype is the energy of creation. So if you know somebody who is makes you feel really good every time you see them, makes your problem seem really not really complicated, or what's the word for it? Irritating as much as you think. They just turn the evening really in a very different direction. You have fun with them. If you go out with them, you have fun with them, right? It's what are you sensing? It's their energy, right? Their energy is alive. Like everything is great. Like the drink is great, like the atmosphere is great, like the sound is great. Everything is great. It's like it's a perfect harmony for them
Yeah, I'd like to
because
add
yeah,
Oh, I'd like to add to that.
yeah, yeah,
It's not just great. It is great, but what makes it great is everything's all right. Everything's enough. It's
yeah,
enough. Everything's calm. Everything's great because we don't need to do more. Doesn't have to be less. We appreciate what comes up,
yeah,
but everything is great because everything's enough. And there's that sense of calm and you're enough. The
yeah,
place where we're at in it is enough. And we're
yeah,
here. We're the good
yeah,
time.
yeah,
And we are the ones who are creating.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's sitting in the mother's lap, right? It's that feeling state of sitting in the mother's lap where you're taken care of, you're supported, you're happy, you're fed,
Mhm.
you have all these like really good feelings, like you're chuckling, right? That's what the lover does, right? Because that is the energy of creation. Right? That's the energy. That's what it feels like. That's what it looks like. That's how it is. Now, you might ask, okay, why are we just focusing on the lover? Why aren't we focusing on all four archetypes? Well, the lover is essential archetype. Right? Without lovers, we wouldn't have a population. We would dwindle down and die off. Right? Kings and queens need one heir. So they're not going to have a lot of babies. Those babies replace them. Magicians are doing shit that, they might fall in love, they might have a child here or there, but that's not their main concern. The warrior is dedicated to fighting. Without the lover's energy to contain and hold them, right? they cannot be held. They end up destroying themselves, killing themselves, maiming themselves, getting in situations where, because that energy becomes too much. It's not contained anymore, right? There's balance and flow. Among the four, there's balance and flow. The magician, lover axes, you have the king, queen, warrior axes. You also have the king, queen, magician axes. You also have the lover, king, queen axes. So if you think about it, how it moves, so not to be technical, but how it moves is you can draw the other archetype from the other archetype because you contain all four archetypes. But if that's your skin, if that's what you fall into all the time, you can tell the lovers from a very early age, Dr. Lisa, you would remember, like even in kindergarten, like, lovers had all these people around them. Everybody wanted to be their friend, right? Those are the kids. Everybody wants to be their friend because they're so nice, right?
I bet the lover archetype child would have the most Valentines handed to them from their classmates because
Yes.
everybody wants to be their friend.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the lover archetype.
Yeah. Yeah. They're the ones who get like 31 envelopes or something.
Or
Yeah.
one from everybody.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. So they're the ones who like stack up envelopes,
mhm.
where other kids have like one or two they gotten, or the teacher passes one out just to cover all the kids. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. I remember those days. Right. And you would say to yourself, is like, why? What about me? Well, if you're not a lover archetype, you're staring at a part of you that you have that you can draw energy from and integrate more. But it's not your natural setting. Let's put it that way. It's not how you run. So some people run on 35 degrees. Some people run on 65. Some people run on 75. Everybody runs on a certain level. That's not how you run. The lover archetypes know them. They know themselves and they know others. Even if they don't understand what the archetypal energetic pattern is, they understand they're the lover. Why? Because they love everything. Dr. Lisa, they embrace everything, right? They're the most committed to the cause. They love the cause. They talk about the cause endlessly. And it doesn't matter what the cause is. It could be conservation. Yesterday I saw a lover archetype getting signatures to save the trees. And I could tell he was a lover's archetype, just by his approach.
Mhm.
Right? You wanted to talk to him. You didn't want to blow him off. You didn't want to say, oh, I don't have time for you. It's the trees. We don't have time for our lungs and our breathing capacity anymore. But it's somebody on the street who you might or not want to talk, especially standing in front of a grocery store. But Dr. Lisa, yesterday, I offered to buy him dinner. I offered lunch. I didn't know what time it is. He was because I could sense his energy, right? And his energy was clear and it was good. It was loving, right? So my response, my loving response is to offer food. That's my loving response. But we recognize the lover archetypes like Han Solo in Star Wars, right? Han Solo is the lover, right? Can't stay in one place, needs to move around. Sure of himself. knows exactly what's going to happen, even though he doesn't know what's going to happen. Right?
Hmm. His campaign is the cause at that moment,
Yeah.
even if the cause might change or shift completely.
Yeah.
Still, the committed to that cause in that moment.
Yeah. And the cause has something to do with me, not with other people. It has a direct reflection on what's missing with me, where I need to go, where that cause is committed. Where do I need to go?
Is that a campaign for a lover that's disembodied, or is that a campaign for a lover most of the time?
Well, I think it's more disembodied.
Hmm.
I think the mature lover is committed. Like you could sense the mature lover, right? But they're stable. Their energy is not floating everywhere, right?
Hmm.
And what I mean by mature is not like more respectable or something. I mean more fully developed.
Hmm. And self-aware,
Yeah,
and yeah.
yeah. The development of self, right?
Hmm.
Self-awareness, consciousness of self, self-reflection.
Hmm.
You know, how
Station.
do we know? Being able to decipher. I am this thing, but I am not everything.
Hmm.
That's where you get lost. You get inflated, right? The magician gets inflated. It's like they know something, and it's like nobody else does, so they get inflated on that idea,
Hmm.
right? And the more they keep it a secret, the more they move into the shadow axes, because they start seeking power, right? Instead of sharing wisdom or sharing insight or sharing the mysteries of how things work,
Hmm.
right? Negative energy,
Hmm.
yeah, they become more recluse. The lover becomes more of going from flower to flower,
Hmm.
pollinating, right?
They become manipulative.
Well,
The
yeah,
a lover who is disembodied will appear more selfishly driven
correct.
for their own benefit,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
Even if it hurts others.
yes, and at that
Yeah,
point, people of just you'll have a lover come in, you're like, oh, what do they want this time?
yeah, yeah. But you still let them in.
But yeah, because they're
Yeah,
still charming, and
yeah,
yeah, and they can push these buttons. Like, I think I'm
yeah,
getting
yeah,
tickled, and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, like, wait a minute.
Yeah, they could push your
Uh,
buttons very
mhm.
easily. They could get invited anywhere, by the way. They're like, a lover doesn't even know they have this power. They're not even aware of it. It's just like, this is how life is. That's how unaware of it they are. This is how
I
life
can
is.
choose or not choose.
Yeah, I could go or not go.
Yeah.
Like, they don't think that nobody's going to let them in. That doesn't even occur to them. And it's outrageous if it does, because they
Hmm.
won't let it go. You will
Hmm.
let them in.
Hmm.
You will. They will twist everything around you, and you will be in a little tornado, and you'll just say, go. Go. There is no stop sign. Just go. Right. But the lovers, the need for lovers stabilizes societies. The more love there is in a society, the happier the society is.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, think about it. Like corporations use Valentine's Day to sell all kinds of shit. They're using They're using the image of the energy, right? Flowers. The image, that's the energy, right? Flowers. New life. So we sell a bunch of flowers. We need hearts. You know. The image of the energy. Not they're not selling you the energy. They're selling you an image of it, right? Even the image of it sells out. Even the image of it gets people excited if they want to or not. I was walking downtown. I was meeting Sarah for lunch at the Capitol Grill, and I saw a bunch of people carrying flowers. I became very conscious that I wasn't carrying flowers. Why I'm not carrying flowers, everybody else. So the image messes with you, right? The farther you are away from that energetic pattern, right? The more you notice it. What you notice is different. It's different from you. It's different from what you do, from your feeling state. Right? We have a shortage of lovers right now, or we have too many disembodied lovers because they're you know, the politics now are of division and anger and hate and blaming the other. The lover archetype seeks out the other. They love that which is different, right? They're the creators of fashion. Fashion is the lover at their best, right? You can see it in Fashion Week. If you've ever watched Fashion Week, you're like, who are these people? If you're not a lover, you don't understand what's going on. You don't, but the lovers understand what's going on, right? Everything from the models to the platform to the way people are seated around them to the way their clothes are draped to the lighting in the room to the atmosphere to what they're drinking, everything is thought of in detail. Everything is measured, right? This is like lover energy really concentrated. Like if you want to sit in the nuclear reactor of lover's energy, that's where you sit.
They are creating eliciting a response from every sense: eyes, ears,
Well, yeah,
smell, taste, touch,
correct,
to make it personal
correct.
for you to have a specific sense of atmosphere and place and and how you experience. They're just energetically creating and eliciting that movement within the audience. It's pretty. That's it. Great. I never thought about
Beautifully
that.
said.
Lovers being fashion designers, but yeah, my first thought was Marilyn Monroe.
Well, yeah, absolutely. She was a lover.
Absolutely right.
1000%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Her voice, her demeanor, her movement,
Mm-hmm.
the sense of innocence with the lover. There's a sense of innocence with them when you see them, unless they've moved into their um, shadowy aspects,
Hmm.
you know. There's an innocence about them. You're attracted to that energy because creation is innocent, right? Creation is something completely new, something
Not,
you don't know. It's innocent.
yeah, not forced, manipulated. It's almost spontaneous and
Yeah,
gracefully
yeah,
blooming.
yeah. Even when it's violent, what it creates is beautiful, right?
Have you had that friend who's like super sweet and nice and calm and gracious all the time, but the one time that they tried to lie or tried to manipulate a situation and how they wanted it, it came out all jaggedy, and you're like, where is
Mm.
this coming from?
Yeah,
Why is this? Why are they acting this way or saying
yeah,
those things? It just comes
yeah,
out all jarring.
yeah,
Yeah, that's it. That's one. That's one
Yeah,
that.
that's a lover not in their skin.
Yeah.
The lover in their skin would, like, fleece you.
Without you
Yeah,
knowing
you
it.
would be happy. No, you would give them a kiss on top of it. It's like, yeah, I would do anything for you. Kiss them and say goodbye.
So
Right?
let's say this. If you wanted to flatter a lover
Yeah,
and you wanted to give him the ultimate compliment that
yeah,
any lover would be like, oh my God, I'm just dying for those words to be said to
yeah.
me, what would you say to them?
Well, the first thing I would say to him or her is, "You look amazing," right? And what this does is it reverses the energy. So the energy now is flowing inside of them because they're owning it. Yeah, I am. Hmm. Well, thank you. They're very selfish. Right? That's a sign of respect to the lover. It's not flirting or anything. No, it's a sign of respect. It's like you're acknowledging their energy, right? A warrior would take that as what? As how dare you?
Yeah.
What do you mean I look amazing?
I'm
Who are
sorry.
you to tell me how I look?
Yeah.
Right? But the lover elicits that reaction from you. The warrior does not. You know, the less said to the warrior, the better. That's how you respect them. With very few words, because what you're doing is respecting the energy. Right? You're not poking it. You start saying too much, and then they punch you, and you're like, "Oh, where did that come from?"
Mhm. Well, how about for the lover, what would be an offensive statement or act towards them?
Oh, um, anything that does not acknowledge what they are um, deeply invested in. So every lover is invested in something. They're invested in a project, in their relationship, in building something, in having a group of people come together, in their social life. They have many different things that they do. Right? As soon as you take away from any of those things or dismiss them or not ask about them, then you're basically what you're telling them is uh, you have no sense of style. um, and that you're primitive. Like, because they're up to date, right?
Mhm.
They're up to date in fashion. They're up to date. And why are they up to date? Because they're always creating. Being up to date is like creating all the time. So for them, that's how they feel internally. And if they're not feeling that sense of creation, then we have misery. We have depression. Right?
Mm.
You have deep depression. You have. Uh, yeah, go ahead, Liz.
Yeah, what does a depressed lover look like? What's going on?
Um, they would either be drinking too much or eating too much or like doing compulsive behaviors. It could be sexual, but um, re- repeated, repeated compulsive behavior, basically
Interesting.
repetitive behavior, because what is
Repetitive.
going on is I'm stuck in a loop.
Uh-huh.
And
Right.
so you start to see them and you're like, oh, that's weird.
So it would be weird because they're usually kind of at the forefront of creating, leading people or
Yeah,
an idea.
yeah, yeah.
And then
You're
if
infusing
they're
them with energy, giving them purpose, giving them ideas, giving them feelings, you know.
so these repeated compulsive behaviors or um, losing control, or kind of indicates that they're not leading and they're lost and they're
Yeah.
displaced
Yeah,
and they're
it's like when they get when they get addicted to cosmetic surgery,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Ends up in a bad way, right? Because now you're trying to create perfection, but the mind is skewed, right? So you actually can't create it, but this is your energy. But now what you're doing is you're messing with creation.
yeah.
You're messing with your own creation. And that's when things get dicey, especially when it becomes compulsive,
Mm.
right? Because then you keep going back in. It's like, oh, I'll fix my butt. No, I'll fix my thighs. No, you know what? I'll fix my chest. No, it's my belly. I'll fix that. No, you know what? It's my neck. No,
So maybe this is tangential, but what archetype or which archetype is the most likely to be getting plastic surgery or body modifications, and which ones
oh,
are
the lover,
the least likely to have body modifications, or plastic
um,
surgery?
uh, the lover is the one who is at the forefront.
Hmm.
The warrior is the least of likely ones. Well, actually, no. The magician is the least likely of the group. The warrior, they will take modifications that will enhance them.
Put them in a position of power for
Yes.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, if you could like rig uh, a torpedo launcher from your arm, they'd
yeah,
be happy to do that.
yeah. If 9-year
Yeah.
hole make you the
Yeah.
leader of a
So
group.
there. Um, I would say that queens and kings are less likely, just because the more they feel, because they are the completion of the four. They keep the four together. They are the divine. They are the divine on earth. So they are creation itself. So it's very different. So if they're doing it, then they're not in their skin.
Hmm.
They're disembodied, you know. They're not in their archetypal energetic state unless it's necessary
Hmm.
for the functioning of what they do.
Hmm.
So no, that there's a difference. So if it requires that I look 10 years younger, no, I'll go do it,
Hmm.
because that's part of the job. That's what I'm not gonna. But vanity is not something that vanity is only when they go into their shadow. That's when they become vain, and they also become intolerable, right? They become tyrants.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing pleases them, nothing works, nothing, and everything I have to do. That's the worry. That's kind of, it feels like I have to do this, I have to do that, and then what you do is that energy drags you in.
Hmm.
I- It's negative.
Hmm.
Yeah, the lover, the lovers make Valentine's Day. You know,
Hmm.
all the rom-coms. All the lover archetype movies.
Hmm.
They call them rom-coms. Romantic movies. Um, they could contain death and dying. Like yesterday, I was watching a bunch of movies that had somebody dying of cancer, but they were like love and romance movies, right? So even death can be romantic, not necessarily tragic, but romantic. And it's interpreted through the lens of the lover. You know, what happens to the lover, how the lover becomes angry, how they change, how they grieve, and how they get over stuff. So you see them all the time, you know. And you're always sitting there and it's like, why are they so happy? Like, what are they on? Yeah, that's the energy. So, if you have a lover in your life, it's Valentine's Day. Let them know, you know, that they make your world a better place. Dr. Lisa, any thoughts before we say au revoir to everybody?
Yeah. We all have a lover in us. Every
Yes.
single one of us. We are all lovers.
With that, we are the Four Archetypes. And happy Valentine's, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day.